The majority of Ontarians are against Doug Ford's Bill 5 and his special economic zones, with 58% of people either strongly or somewhat opposing the bill. This compared to about 22% who are either somewhat or strongly in support of it. Meanwhile, another 20% are unsure. And this is really just a microcosm of Ontario politics. Roughly 60% of the population is very anti-Doug Ford, 22% always have his back, and 20% are okay to just keep having things happen because until something actually affects them, they're not going to want to see change. This is why we keep seeing Doug Ford getting reelected, because the other parties can't get a hold of that 20%, because this 58% is split between 3 parties. And the thing is, the more that we break down the sample, the more that we can see that Doug Ford doesn't really care that people are opposed to him. Because when you look at age, it's pretty uniform. But once you can break it down by voter intention, you can see Doug Ford doesn't really have much to be worried about. Most of the people who are against it are NDP and Green supporters, although the other and undecided categories do give Doug a run for his money. And it's those people who we have to get to understand why this bill is so damaging, because otherwise Doug Ford won't see any political consequences for this. It's the same reason that he's saying that people in Ontario don't care about the Greenbelt scandal, even though at least 60% of us are definitely pissed off about it. But at the same time, we also have to take our own partisan blinders off, because when we look at the very similar federal law that's being passed by Mark Carney's Liberals, we can see that support for that law is very different in Ontario, because the support for the federal and provincial laws are pretty consistent among PC voters. And while the majority of NDP voters and a lot of Liberal voters don't support the federal law, you can see a stark difference between their support here and their support for the provincial law. Look at those side by side. Kind of hard to not say it's a little hypocritical. Now, arguably, Doug Ford's Bill 5 is worse than the federal law, but that doesn't mean the federal law is good. What it means is that we have to apply our criticisms fairly and evenly. But also, Doug Ford sucks and he shouldn't be governing this province. Doug Ford is incapable of governing and he only cares about the small group of people who support him and donate money to him. And if Ontarian voters can't get their stuff together and figure out which party is going to lead us in defeating Doug Ford in the next election, we're just going to see more Conservatives running this province into the ground.